I have been getting it for the past few days, which is a big part of the reason the uploads haven't been as fast and furious as they were, just as little as last week. But don't worry, still on it, make absolutely no mistake. And we have this little nugget of information coming to us from the Des Moines Register. But I want you to pay attention to the font and the style. It's the same people that own the Asbury Park Press. How lazy are you in your propaganda? Like, you can't get different fonts and different styles for each of your outlets, but it is what it is. Convicted of sex crimes as a man, felon, no longer deemed threat because of gender change. What? Wait, what? Yeah, man, we coming back. I've come back stronger today. This is written by Tom Cullen. An Iowa Attorney General's office is no longer seeking the commitment of a former Midwest Christian Services student convicted of a myriad. Okay, because I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say a myriad of sex crimes, but convicted of myriad of sex crimes. I believe it's a myriad. Either ways, a myriad of sex crimes because the individual now identifies as a woman. Oh, so y'all really gonna try to sit here and say, oh, there isn't a privilege to being a woman? The same way I can't deny that there are privileges in being black, just like as a group in and of itself. There are, like, everybody comes with their privileges, guys. As far as like the group dynamics go. Court records show the state dismissed the application on January 9th. Attorney General spokesman Lynn Hicks wouldn't comment on the reason for the dismissal other than to say an offender's hormone levels are an important part of substantiating an offender's likelihood of recidivism. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So hormone levels. So basically, oh, if you're a dude, you're more than likely to commit another crime. That's what recidivist means. Committing your capacity in which to commit more crimes even after release, right? After the quote unquote rehabilitation that is our prison system. Yeah. I'm telling you, man. Like, this is female logic working overdrive right now. In November, the Storm Lake Times reported that Josephine Matthew Smith, a 23-year-old convicted of molesting a fellow MCS student in 2014, was undergoing medical treatment that is needed prior to Smith's potentially undergoing gender reassignment surgery. This is the lady right here. Nice 5 o'clock shadow there, ma'am. It is ma'am. Smith has received treatment for gender reassignment over the past 2 years at Newton Correctional Facility. She first expressed a desire to get started. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not playing your pronoun game. He first expressed the desire to get started on transgender classification in October 2017 and started using female pronouns. So, yeah, dude, you've been a chick for 3 years now? Word? Word? You look like Lorenzo Lamas in Renegade, okay? like, bruh, come on, man. Like, just dead it. Like, this is the problem. This is why I take such a hard stance against gender as a legitimate science in the first place, because it's just like it just creates this. It's such an easy out for people who would take advantage of it. It's not that everybody, because there's so many people here who are not here. I mean, not on my channel, but I'm just saying, so many people in the world who are closed-minded, and so having a closed mind, you couldn't possibly see the advantage someone would get out of having these types of policies and this type of science, quote unquote science, out there. But we're looking at it right now. If you ever wanted to, just psychologically dismantle a nation, particularly one that has, for better or for worse, outside of one real big exception, lived in particular peace and harmony for the outside, well, not outside of one real exception. I'm talking about 9/11, but for the most part, like a nation that's been, pretty safe over the past 50, 60 years, then you're going to strike at psychological levels. And this is exactly what's been taking place here with this stuff, man. This is ridiculous. Smith has expressed a preference to identify as Josie, according to court documents. What's your mama name you? Okay. His daddy called him Clashes. His mama named him Clashes. I'm gonna call him Clashes. We don't believe we have evidence sufficient to prove Josie Smith has a significant chance of reoffending, Hicks said late last week. An Iowa Department of Corrections spokesman said Smith was transferred on Saturday to the Sioux City Residential Treatment Facility for transitional release. He did not say when Smith will be released. Hicks cautioned the public not to overreact nothing to see here. Don't overreact to Smith's upcoming release. Smith will be subject to sex offender registration requirements for the rest of his life, Hicks said, which includes regular meetings with a probation officer and listing on a attorney general clearinghouse. Josie Smith will be subject to strict sex offender reporting required of those who commit the crimes she did, Hicks said. She'll be subject to supervision for the rest of her life. Hicks said the Attorney General's office has never encountered a case exactly like Smith's. No, you don't say. A preliminary report prepared by the state's expert, Dr. Jeffrey Davis, says Smith molested as many as 15 victims ranging from ages 1 to 13 before being sentenced to prison in December 2015. The report found the likelihood of reoffending within 5 years of release exceeding 20% because the victims were of both genders, and because Smith was under age 25, never had a long-term relationship. Mr. Smith has never had an intimate relationship, the report says. His sexual encounters appear to have primarily involved molestation, including his own molestation by multiple perpetrators, his victimization of others. Okay, here's the thing, man. This is coming from someone who, by all measures, had been sexually assaulted as a child. That does not give you the right. That in no way, shape, or form should have any balance on whether or not someone is what's the name? Like that shouldn't have any weight as to the right or wrong of this person's actions, because that's no. You don't do that. You don't harm other people no matter what. I don't care what you went through. As soon as you go to put somebody else through it, you're a piece of shit. The report says Smith was molested repeatedly as a child in Louisiana starting at age 7. Mine was at 8. So many people go through this, and you know what they don't do? They don't turn around and do it to others. Even though, I think there's some stat out there, because somebody tossed that at me, like, what is a stat that says, so? Who cares what a stat says? You either a decent person or you're not. You either have empathy for others and you want somebody else to go through that, or you won't, or you do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The report recommended Smith be confined at the Cherokee Civil Commitment Unit for Sex Offenders, CCUSO, in Cherokee for an indefinite period, but it was premised upon Smith having the sex drive of a man. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Dr. Tracy Thomas, quote-unquote Dr. Tracy Thomas, a forensic psychologist and former clinical director of CCUSO, said the statute that outlines civil commitment requires the state to essentially provide an offender has a chance offending greater than 51% for the rest of his life. That becomes harder to prove when an offender significantly lowers his testosterone levels, which has a significantly higher impact on sex drives than estrogen. Okay, see, they're playing around here. They're just like, what they're doing is just juggling the science for the most part. Because I like, when it comes to the biological angle of this, I'm pretty sure that there is I believe that's a real thing. But here's the fun part. You take a little bit of the truth and then you mangle up a whole bunch of gibberish and nonsense with it, and boom, there you go. That's how you end up in these situations. Thomas said there are no women confined at CCUSO CUSO. From an evaluator standpoint, our recommendation is based on whether someone is more than likely to reoffend. Thomas said on Monday, between 5 and 15% of sex offenders reoffend. So it takes an extraordinarily high burden to prove someone has a 51% chance. So that's the end of the article. And you know what, my guy, nah, dude. like Iowa, and it's not him, it's the state. I mean, people are going to try to take, if you put an advantage out there for people to take, they're going to try and take it. I can almost not, if it weren't so just strange and objectively pointless in many ways, then I'd understand. But the deal is that that's what the state's supposed to do. The state is supposed to knock out as many opportunities for fraud and nonsense than it wants. But what it seems as if the state's done is just created more opportunities for the state to come through and to create more opportunities for bureaucracy and red tape and all these other things to basically clog up the court's time and waste taxpayer dollars and the whole If you wanted my true assessment, that's where the state's coming from. The state is like, oh well, if we make misgendering people, illegal, then guess what? We can throw more people into prison, and that's more slave labor for the most part. Even though there's arguments to be made about American workforce, but either ways, guys. Yeah, this is nonsense. This is straight up nonsense because a criminal is a criminal. Maybe, you know what, that's where we should probably put the equality, right? In the justice system. A criminal is a criminal. If you're a female that's going to reoffend, then you know what, you want real equality, then guess what, darling, you get the exact same thing as a man would get. This is such an interesting article and situation, because for all the calls of equality and how men and women are the exact same thing, that ideology also flips on its head when you pull things like this and say, oh well, because he's now a she can she's less likely to offend, despite the fact that she's only been a she technically for 3 years. Went through the whole puberty process as a dude. But when it comes to Mr. or Mrs. Smith, whichever one it so desires to go by, I understand, hey, you see an advantage to take here. They open themselves up. But really, come on, my guy. Come on. So with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you like to toss it a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share because sharing is caring. And YouTube and BitChute and aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know. What do you think in the comments? This is it's the whole feminism and gender equality and men and women are the exact same thing. That whole ideology is like a freaking neutron star. It collapses in on itself. It really does. But you may disagree, and that's what I have a comment section for. And speaking of comment sections, guys, I noticed thank you so much for the engagement. I am going to get into my comment section in a day or so. But wow, yeah, you guys are really hammering it out there, and I really appreciate you for it. All right. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until the next one.